Disrespect never starts loud. It begins quietly, a smirk, a tone, a small jab. The moment you ignore it, you've already lost. Most people laugh it off, thinking it will fade. But Machiavelli taught the opposite. He knew what weak people never learn. Respect is not given, it's enforced. When someone disrespects you, they're not just insulting you, they're testing you. They want to know if you're strong enough to be feared. And every time you stay silent, you tell them, "No, I'm not." I've studied power dynamics for years. The truth is, people who get stepped on aren't always weak. They just don't understand the game. They think being nice means taking abuse. They think turning the other cheek makes them noble. But in a world where everyone is fighting for respect, attention, and resources, being too nice marks you as prey. It signals to predators, this person won't fight back. That's why today we'll explore the most powerful way to handle disrespect. This isn't about shouting or losing control. This is about cold, calculated dominance. Becoming the kind of person others hesitate to cross. I'll share 5 psychological tactics that will change how people treat you. These aren't feel-good tips. These are real, tested methods that work. By the end of this video, you'll see why silence can crush more than words, why consistency builds fear, and why truly powerful people need nothing from anyone. You'll learn to see disrespect as valuable information about people's real nature and how to use it to your advantage. This isn't about becoming cruel. It's about becoming someone who naturally commands respect, without even asking for it. Now type this in the comments: disrespect sharpens my awareness. But before we begin, think about this. How many times have you replayed a disrespectful moment in your mind, wishing you had said something? How many times have you felt that burning frustration of staying silent? That ends today. Today, you learn the hidden rules of disrespect, the game most people don't even know exists. Here's the mistake most people make. They think disrespect is obvious, a direct insult, a punch in the face. But that's not how smart people play. Real disrespect is subtle, like a snake. It sneaks in as harmless jokes, friendly teasing, or innocent mistakes. It's the coworker who always cuts you off. The friend who makes a hurtful joke, then says, "Relax, I was kidding." The family member who waves away your opinion. Here's how it builds. First, light teasing. Small jokes about your looks, choices, or skills. They watch your reaction. If you laugh it off, they know you're safe to attack. Then, the jokes get sharper. The dismissive tone becomes clearer. They interrupt you more. Slowly, they exclude you. Each step feels too small to confront. But together, they form a pattern of disrespect. And if you allow it, thinking you're being the bigger person, you teach them you accept poor treatment. You become the safe target. I've seen this ruin relationships, careers, and self-worth. Good people believed kindness would protect them, only to be surrounded by manipulators who saw their kindness as weakness. Machiavelli understood this. In his world, weakness could destroy you. He knew people are always testing for cracks to exploit. And here's the harsh truth. Silence at the wrong moment isn't maturity. It's agreement. Laughing at insults isn't being a good sport. It's permission. Letting things slide isn't understanding. It's training others to disrespect you again. When you do this, your boundaries stop being rules and start being suggestions. You tell people you don't value your own dignity. That's why some are always stepped on, while others are respected everywhere they go. The difference isn't luck or charm. It's understanding how psychology works and playing the game the right way. Respect is always negotiated. And only those who know this keep it. Every conversation carries hidden power dynamics. Every relationship has an unspoken hierarchy, and that hierarchy is shaped through countless small moments. Moments where respect is either earned or lost. Most people play checkers, reacting to each move with emotion. But a few play chess, thinking ahead, creating patterns that secure long-term advantage. Today, you're going to learn how to play chess. Number 1. Silence as a strategy. Your first weapon isn't words, it's silence. But not weak silence. Strategic silence. Weak silence happens when you stay quiet out of fear, hurt, or confusion. That makes you look powerless. People sense it and they push harder. Strategic silence is different. You stay quiet by choice. You're not hurt, you're not lost, you're calculating. You're deciding if the other person even deserves your energy. Every conversation hides power moves. Every relationship has an unspoken rank, and that rank is formed by thousands of tiny moments where respect is given or taken. Most people play checkers and react emotionally to each move. A few play chess. They think ahead and build patterns that win over time. Today, you start playing chess. Number 1. Silence as a strategy. Your first tool is not words, it's silence, but not the weak kind. Weak silence is when you stay quiet because you're scared, hurt, or don't know what to say. That looks like weakness and invites more attacks. Strategic silence is different. It's a choice. You don't speak because you're deciding if they're worth your energy. Here's how it works. Someone makes a disrespectful remark. Instead of defending yourself or snapping back, you stop talking. You look at them and let the silence grow. Their words hang in the air. They begin to wonder if they crossed a line. They feel awkward and often add excuses or nervous laughter. Most people hate silence and rush to fill it. But if you can sit in silence, you gain power. Machiavelli said it's safer to be feared than loved when you must choose. This kind of silence builds fear of the unknown. People can't predict you, and unpredictable people command respect. Example: in a group, someone jokes at your expense and everyone laughs. Instead of laughing, you stay neutral and say nothing. The laughter dies. The joker may apologize or stumble. You've changed the whole dynamic by breaking the expected pattern. Remember, silence must come from strength, not confusion. You're choosing to withhold a response until you decide they deserve one. Practice this in small moments. Drop this in the comments. My silence speaks volumes. Number 2. Relentless consistency. Most people ruin their own power by being inconsistent. They set a boundary once and assume it's permanent. It isn't. People test limits. If your standards have holes, they will find them. If your rules are negotiable, people will negotiate them away. Consistency means the same response every time. Not just in big fights, but in tiny interactions too. Every time someone interrupts you in a meeting, stop talking, look at them, and wait until they finish. Don't sometimes ignore it, and sometimes call it out. Every time someone jokes at your expense, don't laugh or play along. Keep your face neutral and carry on. If someone tries to unload emotional problems on you when you're busy, say, "I can see you're upset, but I can't talk right now," every single time. Machiavelli knew power is repetition. Each time you enforce your standard, your reputation strengthens. Each exception weakens you. When people learn your reactions, they predict them and act with caution. That caution becomes respect. Your consistency must cover the smallest slights too. The eye roll, the dismissive tone, the contemptuous body language. Treat all of it the same. It may feel strict, but it's actually kinder than chaos. People will always know where they stand with you. They won't have to guess whether today you'll tolerate disrespect or explode. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. My standards never bend. Start small. Pick one disrespectful behavior you sometimes tolerate. Interrupting, dismissive comments, lateness. From now on, respond the exact same way every time. Watch how fast people change when they realize your boundaries aren't negotiable. Number 3. Clear and effective response. This is what separates the truly powerful from everyone else. Your response to disrespect should not be equal to the offense, it should be disproportionate. Ordinary responses blend into background noise, a quick comeback, an argument, a moment that's forgotten. A disproportionate response is memorable. If someone makes a cutting remark and you respond with emotional withdrawal, distance, silence, reduced contact, that message sticks. If someone shows they don't value your time, stop inviting them. Make plans without them. When they ask why, simply say, "I didn't think you'd want to come since you always have other priorities." Your goal: make the consequence linger longer than the original slight. They should remember your reaction days later and think twice before repeating the behavior. This isn't cruelty, it's teaching cause and effect. Most people respond by being doormats or exploding angrily. Both are predictable and forgettable. A cold, measured, disproportionate response is unforgettable. Machiavelli put it bluntly: it's better to be feared than loved if you can't be both. The point isn't to hurt people, it's to be remembered. When someone considers disrespecting you again, the last time they tried should come to mind, and with it, the uncomfortable consequence they faced. Sometimes the best way to deal with disrespect is not equal payback, but a consequence that feels bigger than the offense. This makes people think twice before crossing you again. Here are a few examples. Someone talks over you in a group. Instead of fighting for attention, you simply stop joining group talks when they're around. You're still polite, but distant. They realize their behavior cost them your presence. Someone makes dismissive remarks about your goals. Instead of defending yourself, you stop sharing personal things with them. They no longer get access to your private world. A family member constantly criticizes you. Instead of arguing, you limit your time with them. You quietly become unavailable when they're around. No big drama, just less access. The punishment must feel heavier than the disrespect. A small slight gets met with a strong consequence. This leaves a lasting impression and forces people to calculate the cost before trying it again. Remember, your goal isn't to be liked, it's to be respected. Real respect comes when people know there are actual consequences for crossing your boundaries. Those who truly value you will respect your standards. Those who dislike them were probably taking advantage of your lack of boundaries before. Drop this in the comments. My responses send a clear message. Think back to the last time someone disrespected you and you let it slide. What would a stronger, more memorable consequence have looked like? That's the mindset you need from now on. Number 4, building the dark image. Most people don't realize this. Respect isn't only about your actions, it's also about your image, your aura. The way people see you before you even speak sets the tone for how they'll treat you. You need to create the image of someone who should never be tested, not by being loud or aggressive, but by showing calm strength, quiet intensity, and the sense that crossing you would be costly. This image is built over time through small, consistent signals. The way you walk into a room, confident but not rushed. The way you speak, measured, calm, deliberate. The way you handle conflict, with cold precision, not drama. The way you respond to praise or criticism, the same steady composure. When people see you handle disrespect with control, they mentally file you under not someone to mess with. Soon, your reputation walks into the room before you do. The most respected people don't shout about their standards, their presence communicates it. They don't need to threaten consequences, everyone already knows there will be consequences. This isn't about being scary, it's about being selective and intentional. Who gets your time? Who gets your energy? Who gets second chances? When you're careful about access, people understand your value. Here's how to build this practically. Never chase people for attention or approval. If someone cancels or ignores you, don't run after them. Let them come to you. Never over-explain or defend your boundaries. State them once, clearly, then enforce them. Never tolerate disrespect just to keep peace. Each time you enforce your standards, your image grows stronger. Each time you let something slide, you weaken it. Keep your energy consistent. No extreme highs and lows. A steady, controlled presence creates respect. The most powerful person in the room is often the quiet one. They don't need to prove anything. Their presence is enough. That's the energy you're cultivating. This image protects you and attracts the right people. Bullies avoid you, good people are drawn to you, and opportunities open up because others see you as reliable and strong. Drop this in the comments. My presence commands respect. Now ask yourself, how do people currently see you? Do they test your limits or respect them automatically? Your answer tells you what image you're projecting. Number 5, higher Machiavellian strategy. At the advanced level, you stop taking disrespect personally. Instead, you treat it as information. Every time someone disrespects you, they're showing you something about who they really are, their insecurities, their envy, their true feelings. Instead of reacting with emotion, start collecting this information like data. Who disrespects you when you succeed? That's envy. Who undermines you when you're vulnerable? That's hidden resentment. Every act of disrespect becomes intelligence you can use to guide your decisions. Who disrespects you when no one else is around? That's cowardice. Who disrespects you in private but acts nice in public? That's manipulation. Who disrespects you when you set boundaries? Those are people who are gaining from your lack of boundaries, and who gets angry when you start demanding respect. Those are people who liked it better when you didn't respect yourself. Machiavelli once said, "Keep your friends close and your enemies closer." But before that, you need to know who your enemies actually are. Many people spend years being friendly with those who secretly dislike them, only because they never notice the small signs of disrespect. This awareness is powerful. It helps you decide who to trust with information, who to exclude from opportunities, and who to watch carefully because they are not really on your side. Examples of disrespect as hidden information. A coworker always interrupts you in meetings, but never interrupts the boss. That means they see you as a lower status. Don't depend on them for teamwork. A friend makes mean jokes about your looks, but never about your successful friends. That shows jealousy. Don't expect them to celebrate your wins. A family member criticizes your choices but praises others for the same choices. That's favoritism and envy. Don't take their advice seriously. Someone respects you when you're powerful, but ignores you when your situation changes. That means they respect your position, not you. Don't rely on them in hard times. When you think this way, disrespect doesn't hurt you anymore. Instead of asking, "How could they treat me like this?" you say, "Thanks for showing me your true self before I trusted you." Disrespect becomes like a security system. It warns you about low-quality people before they can harm you. The problem is, many people ignore these signs because they want to believe the best in others. They make excuses, thinking maybe it was just a bad day. But smart people watch patterns. They notice when someone treats them worse than others, or when actions don't match words. Machiavelli knew human nature is predictable. If someone disrespects you in small ways, they'll do it in bigger ways too. If they cross small boundaries, they'll cross bigger ones when it benefits them. That's why disrespect is valuable. It helps you predict behavior. You can then choose how much trust, energy, and closeness to give someone. This makes you emotionally bulletproof. When someone disrespects you, you don't see it as your weakness. You see it as proof of their character. Watch how people treat waiters, workers, or family members. That's who they really are when they think no one is watching. Drop this affirmation. Disrespect reveals truth. Keep track of patterns. Notice who respects you less than others and ask yourself what that really shows about them. Why people disrespect. Insecurity, they feel better putting you down. Dominance, they want to test if they can control you. Fear, your success makes them feel small. Habit, they use disrespect because it worked for them before. Here's the twist. Most people who give disrespect can't handle receiving it. They usually pick people who seem weak. But when you respond with calm silence, strong boundaries, and smart consequences, you flip the script. They expected you to either stay quiet, which gives them power, or get emotional, which makes you look weak. But when you stay calm and don't play their game, they look petty and aggressive instead. That's the power of using psychology to deal with disrespect. People who disrespect others often end up trapping themselves. When you understand this psychology, you stay calm. You realize their behavior comes from their own issues and insecurities. That makes it easier to respond smartly, not emotionally. You're not trying to win them over or prove your worth. You're just showing them that disrespecting you has consequences they may not want to face. Most disrespectful people look for easy targets. When you show firm boundaries and real consequences, they usually move on to someone else. This isn't about being cruel, it's about knowing how human behavior works. Kind people can still have boundaries. Good people can demand respect. Nice people don't have to accept bad treatment. The strategies we've talked about aren't only for single moments of disrespect. They actually change how people see you long term. Over time, your reputation builds. People hear about you before meeting you. And what they hear is, this person demands respect. This reputation becomes stronger with time. When people expect to respect you, they usually do. When they know you won't tolerate poor treatment, they think twice before crossing you. And instead of making you feared or disliked, it usually makes you admired. People respect those who respect themselves. Think about it. Would you rather deal with someone unpredictable, sometimes exploding over small things but ignoring major issues, or with someone who has clear, fair boundaries? Most people prefer the second option. Knowing exactly where they stand with you actually makes relationships easier and less stressful. As you stay consistent, you'll notice changes. Low-quality people who liked your old tolerance for disrespect will slowly disappear. High-quality people who value self-respect will be drawn to you. Your professional life improves because colleagues see you as someone who commands respect. Your personal life improves because you stop accepting partners or friends who don't treat you right. Of course, this takes time and consistency. Old acquaintances may test your new boundaries. You'll feel tempted sometimes to let it slide to avoid conflict, but every time you stand firm, you invest in your future self. Every boundary you enforce is a deposit in your reputation. Every consequence you carry out builds the foundation of respect around you. In the end, the person who learns to handle disrespect calmly and strategically becomes someone others naturally respect, without even asking for it. People who disrespect others often end up trapping themselves. When you understand this psychology, you stay calm. You realize their behavior comes from their own issues and insecurities. That makes it easier to respond smartly, not emotionally. You're not trying to win them over or prove your worth. You're just showing them that disrespecting you has consequences they may not want to face. Most disrespectful people look for easy targets. When you show firm boundaries and real consequences, they usually move on to someone else. This isn't about being cruel, it's about knowing how human behavior works. Kind people can still have boundaries. Good people can demand respect. Nice people don't have to accept bad treatment. The strategies we've talked about aren't only for single moments of disrespect. They actually change how people see you long term. Over time, your reputation builds. People hear about you before meeting you, and what they hear is, this person demands respect. This reputation becomes stronger with time. When people expect to respect you, they usually do. When they know you won't tolerate poor treatment, they think twice before crossing you. And instead of making you feared or disliked, it usually makes you admired. People respect those who respect themselves. Think about it. Would you rather deal with someone unpredictable, sometimes exploding over small things but ignoring major issues, or with someone who has clear, fair boundaries? Most people prefer the second option. Knowing exactly where they stand with you actually makes relationships easier and less stressful. As you stay consistent, you'll notice changes. Low-quality people who liked your old tolerance for disrespect will slowly disappear. High-quality people who value self-respect will be drawn to you. Your professional life improves because colleagues see you as someone who commands respect. Your personal life improves because you stop accepting partners or friends who don't treat you right. Of course, this takes time and consistency. Old acquaintances may test your new boundaries. You'll feel tempted sometimes to let it slide to avoid conflict. But every time you stand firm, you invest in your future self. Every boundary you enforce is a deposit in your reputation. Every consequence you carry out builds the foundation of respect around you. In the end, the person who learns to handle disrespect calmly and strategically becomes someone others naturally respect, without even asking for it.